Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to a new and fresh episode of Meet Menaca, empowering you, or rather, let me say, welcome to a new and fresh look of our talk show. So, for all those who are wondering whether they are at the right place or not, you're absolutely at the right place. Let me put it this way: you are at the right place, you are at the right place, and we hope you'll be with us and always be at the right place. So we are in a new package, right? As they say, old wine, but new bottle. That's pretty much what we are today. And the new identity is all about Meet Menaca. And for me, I wanted to really start today's session, the first session under this new identity, using the word meet. What does meet mean to you and me? Why do we want to meet? Who do we want to meet? I guess perhaps once we pass our college life and stuff, I guess everybody is super busy, and perhaps every phone call with a friend is all about, yeah, we shall meet soon. Let's catch up soon. And somehow we never end up meeting. That's the reality of life. But the current pandemic has made us realize that. And I guess we've somehow ended up chatting and meeting with people the most that we may have ever done. But don't worry, unlike what we've been doing now as we are growing older, in terms of our sessions, we've been meeting without fail week after week and shall continue to do so. The way people are meeting is changing, right? Gone are the days of hugs and handshakes. Today it's a namaste from far, or it's max to max a fist thump out there. But at the end of the day, the feeling, the thought, the idea, that does not change. And that's exactly what we are. The essence is the same. It's only an identity which has changed. And changed for better, changed with an enhancement. And I'll not use up more time. And I will pass on the baton to I guess for a change, I don't have to introduce her for a reason today. And that's because our identity introduces her completely. So over to you, Menaca.
Thank you, Raza. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining Meet Menaca to celebrate you. Lovely to have you on this platform. Today, we are going to be having a special guest. He is a business growth mentor, leading authority on growing small and medium-sized businesses, coach, and public speaker. He helps owners, directors, and entrepreneurs to grow, increase profits, and increase the value of their small businesses using his world-class mentoring system. Above all, Raza Khan today, who is the speaker, is my close friend. We met on a training a few years back, and ever since we have kept in touch and become really good friends, so much so that I have even met his family. Today, he's going to speak about one of the most important things in today's day and age. It's about emotional intelligence. Today, more than ever, we all have to be more aware of our emotions, and definitely, whether you are a business person, a professional, or even at a personal level, we all need emotional intelligence. The first question to you, Raza, is what is emotional intelligence?
Thank you, Menaca. That's a wonderful introduction. But before I answer your question, let me just ask you guys a couple of questions, right? I've got this teddy bear in my hand, right? Let me just show you. Can you see that? Right?
Yes, we can.
So if I strangle his neck, or if I punch him, right? What is that feeling you're getting? Menaca, can you share that? The screen. Which of those feeling you're getting? Right. So in the chat box, can you please put it down that which of those feelings you are getting me just by strangling the teddy bear or punching the teddy bear? I'd love to know.
Angry.
Okay. What else?
I don't like you.
Okay. What else? Anybody else?
Not you yourself.
Right. Okay. See, how easy is it for me or anybody else to manipulate your emotions? Yeah. But those emotions is what you grew up with. Even though because now you saw this association of this teddy bear while you were growing up. But then not only that, but something else happened in your childhood, and that's where it stemmed from. Now, let me give you an example. In 2017, I was on a holidays in Pakistan, and I was invited in the wedding. And after the wedding reception, I came out and I started walking and towards my car, and I suddenly hear a scream of a little girl, right? The reason I'm telling you this story so you can understand some of the things which actually, while we're growing up, that happens to us and that causes us problem. Well, when I got close to the area where I heard the scream from, there was a man holding a little girl, swinging her on the top of the pond. And on that pond, there was a fish and there was water. And the girl was very scared and she was shouting and screaming. Now, for him, he was laughing and joking, but for him was entertainment, but for her was a trauma. Now, the reason I'm saying is a trauma because now when she's growing up, she will have, every time she sees a water, she will have an emotional reaction. She will have problems with her life. But as we grow, we brush under that, they brush under the carpet, that emotions. And those emotions could be angry, frustrations, why that happened to me. Just like Menaca showed the screen, those are different type of emotions, which we go through on a daily basis. But we don't know what are the triggers, what are the causes of those emotions. My own background is that when I was growing up, I was at 2 years old. My father used to work in Saudi Arabia as a doctor. And so in 1965, we were traveling to Saudi to meet my father with my mom and my grandfather. We were traveling, we arrived at Jeddah and we were traveling from Jeddah to Taif. People who knows that part of the world, that they know that there's used to be only one street or one road going from Jeddah to Taif, which is via Mecca. And Mecca in itself is in the high mountain, right? While we were going through that, there was suddenly a thunderstorm. And that thunderstorm is actually, we were in the middle of it. And at the age of 2 years old, I actually saw a lot of dead bodies floating around. People who we were sharing taxis with, they died. Even the taxi driver died. Few months after that incident, we were involved in another bus accident, where again, I survived. And I was so much scared as a 2-year-old that I did not say a single word for a year. My parents had to put me into the treatment. But those were the traumas. So if you look back in your own life, what were the traumas or the situations you had between 2 years old up to 15? We may not realize that the emotional reactions we are having. Maybe because I just showed you the teddy bear and I just punched the teddy bear and you had emotional reaction, you had anger, you have pain, but they are related to your childhood. That's where they come from. So those are emotions, they go in and out, right? And it causes all sorts of problems to us. The emotional intelligence itself is not about the emotional intelligence, it's about understanding and a self-discovery. Because as we grow up, we may have a limiting beliefs, we may have a frustrations, we may have a lot of things. And there is situations, right? I remember I was coaching somebody and she had the emotional reactions, but she did not know what it was. Found out that she was in the temple, something happened to her. Now, we hold those things to us for a long period of time, and then we don't know how to overcome those problems. And that anger, frustration, and everything comes in our personal life, comes in our professional life. Personal life in terms of relationship with yourself, relationship with your partner if you're married, or a girlfriend, or a relationship with your children, or relationship with anybody else around you. Let me share another example that in 2015 I was working with a company called Interserve Justice. The people who is in the UK, they know that Interserve is predominantly is they provide a cleaning management system. The CEO of that company, that part of the company was a wonderful lady, but the minute she get the bad news, she just throw all our toys out of pram. And that, so much so that her PA was the one who used to get it in her head. And all the time she was like bickering and everything because the bad news, the emotional reactions of that bad news she was getting. Now, there was a point in time that her PA got so sick of that, she actually decided to go on a sick leave. And when she come back after sick leave over a month, she decided to hand her a notice in because she didn't want to be part of that. Now imagine your emotional reactions is impacting not only you, physically, mentally, health-wise, but it's impacting people around you as well. I hope that answers the question, Emma, in a very nutshell.
Thank you, Raza. As you said, and we are becoming more and more aware that the importance of emotional intelligence in day-to-day life, in all aspects of our life as well. Going from there, can you elaborate on that? Why is an understanding of emotional intelligence so important for us at a professional level and personal level, whether you're a business person or professional or as an employee, employer, even in your family setup, please?
Wonderful question, Menaca. Now, I think emotional intelligence in itself has been around for centuries. I mean, in the last 20 years is actually becomes the key thing that everybody wants to talk about the emotional intelligence. And as the Harvard Business School says, in the dawn of era, we all need to be emotionally intelligent about whole things. But if you look back, all the religion, they were talking about the emotional intelligence, but they are actually practicing it. Now, emotional intelligence, there is two competencies we're talking about, the personal and the social competencies. In the personal competencies, we're talking about self-awareness and self-control. In the social competencies, we're talking about social awareness and relationship management. Now, let me elaborate all four of them. Now, they all are interlinked and intertwined. Social, self-awareness is all about understand yourself, because we are running in a rat race, constantly running, but we don't take 5 minutes to understand what is really going on with us. If you're frustrated, when was the last time you actually tell somebody that you are frustrated? Or when was the last time you actually documented that you're frustrated? You didn't, because we are constantly running. Self-awareness is not about deep, dark understanding about yourself. That, I need to disappear somewhere, and then I need to do stand on one leg or something like that. It's not. It's all about understanding what is going on with you. When usually I would recommend is that when you're having emotional reactions or something which is triggered, could be anything. But if you stop, if you don't document that, it's going to cause you a problem. Because you don't understand, and all your life you're going to be like that. You will have emotional reactions of the things which will cause you problems, which will cause you problems in your personal and professional and relationship. So self-discovery or self-awareness is the fundamental for everything. You need to understand what is happening with your body, when you need to do the exercise, what is the impact of your thought processes having, how they're impacting your health. I mean, the anxieties and the depressions, it's all to do with the emotional intelligence. It's all with the emotions which we get. Anger, frustration, all those things, that's where it comes from. So think about that. And my recommendation is that if you haven't, start documenting, every time you're having a reaction, start writing it down. Because the more you write, the better understanding you have about your own emotions and what are the causes of those emotions. That's the self-awareness side of it. Now let's have a look at the self-destruction. If you don't understand what is going on and you are in the depression and anxiety, what happens? We press self-destruct button. We go towards the cake or towards the food or something which we like, which give us a comfort, right? And that's one of the reasons we are in the different sizes and the different shapes, because we just don't we just let it go. We don't care. That's fine. That's my comfort. I will eat the biggest portion. I'm not, I'm still doing my best to manage my own emotions, right? Day before yesterday, I was in the Ilford Lane, and I saw this, the bakery shop. So I just went in there and bought a whole box of the biscuits. And on the way home, I finished it off. But that's a self-destruct button. I did, which is wrong. And I know those biscuits, what they can do to my body. On one side, I'm saying, yeah, I don't want it. On the other side, it's like, yeah, come on. Nothing wrong with that. You can take one more. And then one more, and then one more, and then one more. And guess what? The box is finished by the time I got home. And then the worst thing is that I hide it from my missus because I know it's going to get told off. Not a good place to be. right? But this is what happens. If you don't understand what is really going on with you under the self-awareness, you will always move into the self-destruct area. When you move into the self-destruct area, you will do things which is actually destroying your mental health, your health, and your body, everything you can think of. There was a saying is that if you eat food like a medicine, then you're not going to eat medicine like a food. And that's what we've been doing. And Asian community is predominantly hugely impacted by the diabetes, by all the other illnesses, anxiety, depressions, all those things. And some of the things which I was talking about earlier about the girls and the joking, there's a lot of things goes on in the Asian community, which is, the brush under the carpet, especially around the emotions. And somebody I know, even in Pakistan, when the girl said, look, I'm having an emotional reaction, the parent says, are you mad? Are you sick? But they don't recognize these things. And they are so important, especially in this day and age. So that's the self-destruct side. Now, have a look at the social awareness. If you are managing a team, if you are, a team leader or somewhere in the technology, somewhere in the sector, or any sector, when was the last time you actually put your hand around your staff member and ask him, what is going on with you? Because we are too busy in our own, we become self-centered in our own life. We will never get a time to understand what's going on. Or when was the last time you actually give a crying shoulder to somebody to cry upon? Right? These are the social awareness of that. You need to aware exactly what is going on. Or when was the last time you had a man-to-man or a man-to-woman have a conversation in a relationship, either maybe your son, maybe your daughter. When was the last time you actually sit down and have that conversation? Because everybody is having some sort of emotional reaction, but they need somebody to listen to. They need somebody without any judgment, just listen to them. And that's what the social awareness is all about. Aware exactly of what is going around you. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is they will find somebody else who can listen to them and they can take them to the wrong path as well. And that's where the relationship management falls into that. So those are the 4 domains which emotional intelligence talks about. And they are applicable to all of us. So first thing first is that think about your self-awareness. And then all of those 3 then fall into place. I hope that answers the question.
Sure, perfect. Thank you so much, Raza. It is a very useful explanation and very applicable as well. So thank you. Yeah, I can totally relate to it. People have heard me many times saying I'm a chocoholic dentist, and exactly that is the self-destruction button. I'm not saying not to have biscuits or chocolates or anything, but when you are in that mode and you're not having that just for pleasure, but out of pain, like you said, and then you do finish your entire box. And Raza mentioned man to man, man to woman, and women do also speak, women to women. So yeah, other children, everyone, I think just be there, listen to it, each other, and help each other as well. Going from there, Raza, can you please let us know how emotional intelligence impacts on our personal and professional life? I think you have kind of touched upon it, but if you can elaborate on it, please.
Right. Okay. So, the example I gave you for the CEO, when she was impacting that, she was impacting her PA, because that's the professional side of it. Because what happens is that, the idea is in the professional life that if something is happening in your home, right, as soon as you step out of a home, that should stop. You should not carry that to the office environment. And as soon as you're stepping into the office environment, you feel alive, smile, and feel like that you are there to help somebody on a professional level, right? Because what's going on at the moment is that a lot of people are in the leadership position, but they are acting and that they are in 18th century, not in 21st century. Yeah, tell you why I'm saying that. Because still there is a lot of organizations where they tell their staff, do this or else means that they're going to lose the job or they're going to get kicked out. We are in a 21st century. We need to understand exactly what is going on with the individuals. We need to understand and spend time to learn about them or their life, or what is important to them. And that is what the key is. Because if we don't, what's going to happen is that they may do the work as a fear, but then we will never earn their loyalty. Loyalty will get things done, and they do far more than fear. So instead of having a wood and a stick, understand what's going on. Spend time with them. Sit down with them, or take them out of the office environment. Have a cup of coffee. When was the last time we actually sat down and did that? We don't. We are in the habit of, it's like, I'm a management. Management is in the management. You are in the boundaries of that building. As soon as you get out of that building, you and him are the same. The only difference is in that building, because he has got his family to look after, and you have got your family to look after, and that's the difference. But people don't understand that. They carry that outside as well as their home environment. They feel that their family is their slaves. They feel that they do this or else. That's how they treat their missus, their kids as well. They don't take time to understand what is going on with their kids, because they emotionally don't understand their own emotions. They don't understand what the triggers is. They don't take time to spend time with themselves, and maybe like 5-10 minutes every day. And that's all, is to understand exactly what is going on with their life. How they're impacting their health, how they're impacting their anxiety and depression levels. They're depressed, they start eating. I'm not going to suggest anybody not to, but speak to your doctors. But what happens is that the minute you go into the depression, doctors prescribes you medicine. And what happens is that you end up in the medicine, which you could have avoided in the first place by just understanding yourself exactly what is going on with you and writing it down. And the most important thing is that, because I would say, is that speak to somebody who are not emotionally attached to you, so you can share what is going on with you. Because what's going to happen is that if you decided to share what is going on with you with your missus or with your kids or something like that, you may feel that they're going to take advantage of you, or they may feel that you are a failure or things like that. These are the things happen. And the fear of failure is another emotion. So that's why what we do, we just shut down. We don't want to talk about it. So there is so important in a personal and professional life to understand what is going on with you, and then go into the next level, which is yourself and the relationship. Because the relationship inside the house and outside the house is exactly the same way. But we change. We, like a chameleon, when we go into the house, we are nice and hunky-dory and everything. But when we go into the office, like a miserable person, we want to just rip people off. No, we should be exactly the same. And these are the things which we need to do day in, day out. Understand yourself, practice it. I would say is that if you haven't done it, do it every day for 5 minutes. 5 minutes, take time out for yourself. Love yourself. Let me ask you another question for the audience. When was the last time you looked in the mirror and you said, "You're looking good and sexy today. I love you"? When was the last time? We don't. Because we feel that we are too weak. What if for somebody see us doing that? So what? That is their what ifs, it's not your what ifs. And that is the sign of that you are a fully self-aware person. And I'm sure there is a lot of people you have come across who are vibrant, who go, you want to be attached to them. You want to talk to them more and more, because they give you energy. They take you to the next level. That's what you want to be. Yeah, Tharani said, hardly ever. Why not now? Start from today. After this session, go in the mirror and says, "I love you. And I understand what you're going through." Let me ask you another one. When was the last time you actually write it down, 10 coolest things about yourself? We don't. But if I ask you, give me 100 bad things. No, give me 10 bad things about you. You give me 100. That's how our mind works. But you need to love yourself first. And loving starts with looking in the mirror and say, "Yeah, I love you. And I thank you for whatever happened to me." Because life happens. And that's where we start. It is absolutely, self-love is important, but we don't do it enough.
Thank you, Raza. Thank you so much for that explanation. It was very, very useful. And I think initially you started with the professional setup, right? I think that's where the team thing comes from. Together everyone achieves more. And when you are good to each other, support each other, and everyone thrives, and it becomes an environment you want to work in, first of all, and then also it's an environment everybody else wants to work in. It was really interesting to listen to you saying you need to leave everything what happens at home, and then go to work. I am speaking not as a host, I'm speaking as a person. I used to wear this mask and I used to be always with a smile. Old habits die hard. I guess sometimes I catch myself doing the same thing. Only thing is, I think, of course, being aware is very good. And of course, you should try to not to take your problems from home to work and work to home for sure. I do understand that. And because sometimes what we do is when we are at home, we are thinking of work. When we are at work, we are thinking of home. It's easily done, particularly when you own a business or high in the management or something. I think you're trying to solve all the problems at the same time. So why do we need to be emotionally smart? That is also important, right? I think it is partly what I mentioned, like, okay, yes, taking the things from one place to the other is not really good, but it is also important for you to, involve in self-care. And sometimes I often say it's okay not to be okay. And if you are not okay, it's no shame to say you are not okay. So over to you, Raza.
Okay, thank you, Menaca. Great question. Okay, the reason I said that, right? Imagine if you're in your case, you've got the dental practice, right? So you're at home, you've got home stuff going on, and then you suddenly take that with you. And as soon as you walk into a dental practice, you're smiling, right? But what is really going on, and then deep down inside, you're frustrated. But that didn't come across very well in your work environment, because even though you're smiling, the face talks to us. Everybody's face tells more stories than we realize it. But it come across, right? But then it come across in your tone of voice as well. But the worst thing is that is impacting your mindset, is impacting your emotions, because you're frustrated in one place. You came to work. Now, let's say your other dental doctors or the nurses not performing well. Guess what happens? You lose it. You get very angry because you're already frustrated. It was building up, right? When it's building up, then the frustration is come out like a lava, and then you're just going to burn everybody around in that lava. That's what it is. So it has to be very important. That's one thing. Number two is that when we live like that, it becomes very painful, because now we're wearing two masks. One is the smiley, nice ones, and the one is the really horrible person. Not nice, because you see, is affecting your mental health. You're getting anxiety, you're getting depression, because you're switching between. And switching is also known as multitasking. When you multitask, you are impacting your brain. Because our brain, look, let's do this little exercise, right? Everybody, let's say count 1 to 10 as quickly as you can.
Yes.
Done?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now, count, say A to Z as quickly as you can.
Yeah.
Okay. Now combine both of them. A1, A2, A3, A4, A5. Combine both of them. A1, B2, C3. See how quickly you do that.
Of course, it will slow down.
Why? Because
you're multitasking, your attention is not there.
Correct. But not only that, our brain is capable of single processing. We are not computers. We're doing the single processing. When we start doing the multi-processing or multitasking, that's what you're impacting. So you need to be smart about your own emotions. Is that, okay, I'm frustrated, I understand that, but let me park it, or maybe write it down to what I'm frustrated about. Because if you're not gonna write it down, you will never know what are you frustrated about, and what was the thing which triggered that reaction. Park it, and then when you go into that, you know that you have boxed that problem and you're going to come back and revisit that problem to solve it later. And that's where the smartness come into play. Because now you're not multitasking, you're not switching between tasks. You are focusing on single thing. Yes, deep down, you will know there is a problem, but as you write it down, you know you're going to come back and visit that problem eventually and resolve it, or resolve the problem and park it. Or if you don't understand, then something like, look, as a business people, what we do is that we tend to do everything. Website design, Facebook, social media, writing the contents, being a sweeper, being an accountant, being a legal advisor, everything. But we are not good in everything, and that's what frustrates us. There is a lot of people who is trying to get into the knowledge industry, and what I'm finding is that they're one step ahead and two step back because they are doing everything. Find somebody who is better in that particular area, pass it on. Now you're relaxed because that's their responsibility. So now you're not, emotionally angered, frustrated, or depressed because now that's their responsibility to perform that work. So these are some of the reasons I would say, because I give you example is that when I start applying those emotional intelligence domains in my own personal life and professional life, my consulting length longer, because I'm fully aware and I'm fully present in the work environment. I'm listening to the people and listening to the things which they're saying and the things which they are not saying. Because when you don't do that, when you're not smart, what's going to happen is that you're going to miss out what people are saying wordly, and you're going to miss out what people are not saying. So that's why you have to be very smart emotionally to understand that. I'm not saying that you go and become a people pleaser. No, stick to your guns, stick to your values. They are important, but understand exactly what is going on. And that's what the smartness is all about.
Thank you so much, Raza. And I used to be the multitasking queen, and I learned with disastrous consequences, which it really doesn't work long term. A few years back, I read a book called The One Thing. It kind of really changed my life. And in that, it says multitasking, even the computers don't do it. Even the computers, they shift from one thing to the other. So it's really not multitasking. There is evidence to show it is less effective, you make more mistakes, and the consequences are disaster. But somehow along the way, somewhere in the business world and as people, we just decided we achieve more by multitasking.
It was interesting. There was an job advert, and in there they're saying we're looking for people who can multitask.
Sure.
Amazing. It's like, how can they do that? It's like if you are in the work environment and your boss come, and I mean, my suggestion is maybe, and that's what I've trained other people as well. It's like my boss saying is like, I need to do this, but I've got like 10 things in my list to do. Right? I usually say to my bosses, this is my list for today. Which one do you want me to remove from there and put your task? If your task is important, add it in here and I'll do it. But then if something happens, then you're responsible for the things which I've not done. But now by doing that is actually you're training your boss as well, and to be smart, and you're saving yourself time. So that's why I would say it. But yeah, carry on.
Sure. Thanks, Raza. So going from there, can you explain to us what are the key domains of emotional intelligence everyone should be aware of?
Well, we talked about the key domains, which were self-awareness, self-control. Then you talked about the social awareness and relationship management. So, apply those in that order. But there is a plenty of material out there, a lot of material out there on there. Self-awareness. Fundamentally, I would say self-awareness is the key for everything.
If you could just mention some quickly to applicable strategies for the audience, please.
Sure. So basically, in order to be self-aware, understand is that, what are the triggers or what are the problems you're facing, right? Write it down. Because, if you don't write it down, you don't know what are the triggers or what are the emotions. Like, just like when I was punching the teddy bear, there's a couple of people had the emotional reaction. And Tharani had an emotional reaction. She hated me. She didn't want to talk to me. She didn't want to listen to me. But these are the emotional reactions. So what caused that? If I can change your emotional reactions by punching the teddy bear, imagine how you're living on day-to-day basis. Imagine how was your last year like, living the whole year. Imagine that COVID-19 impacted people's emotions in such a way. Some people I know, they were almost there to commit suicide because they just did not understand what's going on with them. Their feeling of loneliness. These are the things. Understand what is the reason or what are the triggers. Maybe I'll tell you what my triggers is. If somebody talk to me in a loud voice, that's my trigger. I get off. And the time management. The other one is the time management. If somebody impacting my time, I get very upset because time is valuable for all of us, right? But unfortunately, when it comes to the family life, I don't manage my Mrs. diary. She manages everybody's diary, right? I get told in the last minute. So that's what I'm saying is that these are the things which happens. So understand what is going on with you. It is so important. Have a diary, build a diary, write it down every day. I tell you what, the best bit is if you make a diary for 1 week and understand that every, things like when you get up in the morning from brushing your teeth all the way to the day, write down all the activities you perform. And you'll be surprised the areas you've identified, what triggers the emotions, where you wasted the time, what is going on. If you do that for 1 week, it becomes a habit, almost like a habit. But I know usually habit takes 30 days. But just by 1 week, you will understand is exactly what is going on. What are the key areas where you're getting the trigger of the reactions you're getting on the emotional intelligence, on the emotion side of it, whatever the anger, happiness. I was listening to one of those old songs from my childhood actually, because my mom used to Sunrise India. I was like all the fantastic music, Mukesh, Kishore, all those guys, right? And one of the songs is that life is a battle. Every new step of life is a battle, and that's so true. The question is that how are we equipped to deal with that battle? If you start understanding your emotions, you're almost there to deal with that battle every day.
Thank you so much, Raza. So you finished by the life is full of battles. So, of course, you also mentioned it's important to understand our triggers and reactions. So tell me about a time when your mood altered or your performance altered positively or negatively because of these triggers.
Right. Okay. So not long ago, 72 hours ago, me and my other half, we were traveling in the car and she was upset about something. And then I tried to suggest, and obviously the altercation happened. Right. And my mood was triggered, but like I was so frustrated and angry when we get to the office. My staff member was like, "You don't look well today." But I was well, but I was very angry. I didn't say much, but my mood was altered. You see, so anybody and everybody can alter your mood, but you need to understand and defend yourself, defend your emotions, defend your mind, that who and what can alter that. But it's just a disagreement because she didn't understand my point of view. I didn't understand her point of view. So now we are on the two battlefield. She's on the bad side, I'm on the good side, or I'm on the bad side, she's on the good side. This is what's going on now, right? So these things every day, something or someone will alter your emotions. Mine gets. I tell you, my mood gets very quickly altered by if somebody's impacting my time management or raising their voice. I would say, talk to me nicely. Let's sit down and have a chat, have a conversation. Because you have seen, I don't know, Menaca, you've known me a couple of years now, and Kibbai knows me a few years now, one or 2 years, but you have not me being very angry, but I do get very angry, but I understand what those triggers are. The question is that when you get angry, do you understand your triggers? What makes you angry? What makes you happy? What makes you frustrated? And this is what is important for you to understand that.
Thank you, Raza. I know you for 4 years. I know
There you go.
can't remember.
Wow. Wow, time flies, right?
I know, and I thought I was hard work. You would remember that. Raza and me, of course, we have conversations outside this, for many years. And then whenever we talk, I always tell, I kind of know the hotspot, and I tell, okay, I'm going to go on the hotline with Arisha, so his wife, and complain about you.
Because kids do it very well.
Of course, they do.
Yeah,
I'm
they
sure
do
we
it
will all
very
have
well.
a lot of questions about that later on.
Yeah, I'm sure. But yeah.
Yeah, I think they are the
Carry on.
masters of it for sure. Okay, so thank you so much, Raza. It was really insightful to learn a lot of emotional intelligence, and it's very close to my heart. People who have been coached by me, they know I speak about these things a lot, partly because I have special interest, because I myself have not managed my emotions in the past well, and I learned it, and I definitely want to make sure everybody else can manage their emotions so much better as well. And I'm sure you perhaps do for the same reason. One last question. Can I just ask, how has been your experience coming on the show and speaking about it? And any suggestions for us? It's just very short, swift answer, please.
Okay. Now it's good experience because obviously I'm quite passionate about the emotional intelligence and overcoming limiting beliefs because they are intertwined, right? And it gives me opportunity to share my experiences and my knowledge with people, because the idea is that what we want to do is we want to help people to improve their lives, and this is the responsibilities being bestowed upon us, right? And if we don't do it, there is a lot of people is crying and asking for help. And the other thing is they want us to make sure that we are part of their journey. So I am so happy that you have invited me and I'm part of this journey as well. And if I can help one person from this group, I've done my job. Sure. And I know people say that, oh, you have a magic. I don't have a magic. I've been given a skill which I want to pass it on to the other people.
Thank you so much, Raza. Thanks for being here and speaking about emotional intelligence today. Before I pass it on to Swati, I am going to speak about the next speaker for the next week. Next week, it is another friend of mine who is going to be speaking, Rupak Sinha. He would be speaking about finding the balance. It is about how it is. I think it is quite apt because Raza spoke about multitasking and why it is detrimental to you. So it will be really interesting talk next week about Rupak Sinha. He is a coach, he's an NLP trainer, hypnotherapist, practitioner, and nutritionist. And he has many qualifications and experiences under him. So it would be a pleasure to invite him to speak about it next week, and I'm sure we will all learn a lot as well. Over to you, Swati.
On behalf of the team of Meet Menaca, empowering you, I feel privileged to thank you for gracing our our show with a valuable talk. Few takeaways which are very relevant for each one of us is that emotion comes with our own limiting beliefs. Then we also got a great insight on self-awareness, self-control, social awareness, relationship management. And most important of all, takeaway from me and our audience is love yourself first. And firstly, to write 10 cool things about yourself. That was so nice of you, Raza Khanji, to bring us great insight for this topic, which is so much relevant in today's era. I was just going through an article on People Matters, which is this is one of the skills which the corporates are going to be looking for it in the long run. Besides all the technical stuff that we have. So thank you once again. And I am also would like to thank all our audience for their precious time and being a part of a show. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Swati. Thank you, darling.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much for everyone who is listening on Facebook or being audience on Zoom here. Just to let you know, we would love to hear from you. What are the topics you want us to speak about? What are the kind of speakers you would want us to get on this platform? So that the entire point of this show is to celebrate you, which means we want to be the vehicle to be able to enhance you, empower you, so that you can go and celebrate your life, and all of us can together celebrate all of our lives together. So please let us know. Please share it on our chat. And I think they have been sharing the WhatsApp link. If one of you can please share the WhatsApp link again. It is a vibrant, to say the least, WhatsApp group. Everybody is pretty active there. We discuss, we argue, and we support each other, help each other. All the emotions are there on display in that group. So I would warmly welcome all of you to be on that group. For people who are listening to us on Facebook, we are going to stop the live telecast on Facebook to make sure the people who are here in the audience can ask the questions openly, and knowing privacy is always maintained. The questions, or come and join us next time in person on the Zoom, so that you can also ask those questions personally. So until next week, same time, same place, stay safe, be happy, and keep smiling.